What's your very first memory? Maybe it's your first day of school, a birthday party, and a family vacation. Now think back even further. Can you remember taking your first steps? Your first words, your first birthday? Probably not. In fact, almost nobody remembers anything from the first few years of life. But here's the strange part. Babies are constantly learning. They recognize faces. They learn language. They remember their parents. So if babies are forming memories every single day, why can't we remember being one? Today we're exploring one of the biggest mysteries of the human mind. Why our earliest years seem to disappear, and what actually happens to those memories. And if you enjoy learning the hidden reasons behind everyday things, consider subscribing and let us know what we should cover next. The inability to remember the first few years of life has a name: infantile amnesia. Almost everyone experiences it. Most adults' earliest memories begin somewhere between the ages of 3 and 4, although some people remember a few events from slightly earlier. So what happened to everything before that? For a long time, scientists believed babies simply couldn't form memories. But that's not true. Researchers have shown that even very young infants can recognize faces, remember familiar voices, learn routines, and even remember certain events for days or weeks. So babies clearly have memory, just not the kind that usually lasts into adulthood. One reason has to do with how the brain develops. A part of the brain called the hippocampus plays a major role in forming long-term memories. When you're a baby, the hippocampus is still developing and changing rapidly. Think of it like building a giant library while people are already trying to check books in and out. The system works, but it's constantly being reorganized. As a result, many early memories simply aren't stored in the same stable way that adult memories are. But that's only part of the story. Another reason involves something you probably don't think about: your sense of self. Adults remember experiences as part of a personal life story. I remember when I went to the beach. I remember my first bicycle. I remember my first pet. Babies haven't developed that kind of autobiography yet. They experience the world, but they don't yet organize those experiences into the same lasting narrative that older children and adults do. Language also plays an important role. As children learn words, they become much better at describing experiences, even if they're only talking to themselves. Putting experiences into language helps strengthen memories and makes them easier to retrieve years later. Before language develops, many experiences may simply never become the kinds of memories we can later recall. So are those early memories completely gone? Not necessarily. Some scientists believe many early experiences still influence us in ways we don't consciously remember. A baby who grows up in a loving, predictable environment develops expectations about the world. A baby exposed to stress may also be affected, even if no specific memories remain. In other words, the experiences themselves can still shape who we become, even when we can't remember them. Occasionally, people claim they remember being 1 year old, or even younger. Could that be true? Sometimes, but probably not in the way they think. Our brains are surprisingly good at filling in gaps. Family stories, old photographs, and home videos can become so familiar that they begin to feel like genuine memories. Psychologists call this a false memory. It doesn't mean someone is lying. It simply means the brain has reconstructed an event so vividly that it feels real. Scientists still don't know every detail of why infantile amnesia happens, but the evidence points to a combination of rapid brain development, the formation of long-term memory systems, language, and our growing sense of self. Instead of one single cause, it's likely several processes working together. And that's why the first years of our lives remain some of the most mysterious. So the next time you look at a photo of yourself as a baby, remember that even though you can't recall those moments, they help shape the person you are today. Your earliest years weren't forgotten because they didn't matter. They were part of building the remarkable brain that would eventually allow you to remember everything that came after. Thanks for watching Questions Answered. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing, and we'll see you in the next one.